500 years ago, in the narrow streets of Florence, there was a boy who noticed things the grown men around him never did. While the merchants shouted over their coins and the bankers counted behind locked doors, the boy simply watched. He watched who ended each day richer and who ended it only tired. He watched which men owned and which men merely worked, and slowly, without anyone teaching him, he began to understand the hidden rules that moved money through the city. The rules no adult would ever say out loud. That boy's name was Niccolo Machiavelli. He would grow up to advise kings and unsettle popes. He would write the book that rulers kept hidden for 500 years, and near the end of his life, poor, forgotten, in a small house outside the city that had turned its back on him, he understood that all his power over men had taught him one final thing he wished he had known as a child: how to keep the little that a single life can build. These are the rules he learned in those streets, the 10 rules he would one day pass to his own son, and tonight he is going to teach them to you. You were never taught these rules, not because they are locked in some secret vault, but because the people who profit from your confusion have no reason to explain them. Your school taught you to obey. Your job taught you to wait. The merchants of every age taught you to want. No one ever sat you down and told you how money actually moves, who it moves toward, and why it always seems to move away from people like you. So walk with the boy through Florence for a while, because these 10 rules are simple enough for a child to understand, and hard enough that most grown men will hear them, nod, and go back to living exactly as they did before. And here's the strange part. Not one of these rules requires you to be rich to begin. Most of them work best when you have almost nothing. Because when you have almost nothing, every single coin still means something. The man with a full chest can afford to be careless. You cannot. And that, the boy understood early, is not your weakness. It is your advantage. The first rule is the one nearly everyone breaks. It sounds so simple that people wave it away in the same breath they hear it. And that quiet, "Yes, of course I already know that," is exactly why they stay where they are for the rest of their lives. So understand this before we begin. These are not steps you take once. They are a way of seeing. By the end, you will not look at a single coin, a single debt, or a single wealthy stranger the same way again. Let's begin where the boy began, with the rule that costs nothing and changes everything. The first rule the boy learned, he learned by watching men lose everything slowly. Every evening in Florence, the working men were paid, and the moment a coin touched their hands, it began its journey away from them. First to the landlord, then to the tavern, then to the merchant with the bright cloth they did not need. And whatever survived that long march, a coin, half a coin, nothing at all, that was what they saved. That was what they kept for themselves. The boy noticed something strange about this. These men paid every stranger in the city before they paid the one person who would never abandon them, themselves. So here is the first rule. Before the world takes its share, take yours. When money comes to you, set a small part aside first. Not what remains at the end, but a piece removed at the very beginning, before the landlord, before the tavern, before the wanting starts. It does not matter if it is large. A single coin, faithfully kept, teaches your hands a habit that 1,000 coins cannot buy later. Most men do the opposite. They pay themselves last with the scraps if anything is left. And so, they are always at the mercy of what remains. You will not be. You pay yourself first, like a debt you owe to the person you're becoming. Because that person is the most important creditor you will ever have. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, honestly, when money reaches you, who gets paid first? Hold the answer. It tells you almost everything. Now the boy saw a second thing, and it troubled him more. He watched 2 men in the same square. One carried stone from dawn to dusk and was paid for each hour of his aching back. The other owned the small press that stamped the cloth, and he was paid whether he stood there or slept. The first man sold his hours. The second man sold something that was not his hours at all. He sold what he owned. And the boy understood. The man who trades only his time can never grow rich, because time is the one thing that always runs out. Every hour spent is gone forever. But a thing you own does not tire. It does not sleep. It keeps working long after you have gone home. So here is the second rule. Do not spend your life trading hours for coins if you can trade for ownership instead. A share of something, a tool that earns, a skill that makes things people need. Anything that keeps producing value when your own hands are still. You will not own much at first. That is fine. The point is not the size of what you own. It is that you have crossed the line from selling your time to owning your future. But the boy learned quickly that owning a little brings a new danger the poor never face. And that is the third rule. The danger arrives the moment a man has a little more than he needs. The boy saw it happen again and again in Florence. A merchant would have one good season, and by the next, you could read his fortune on his back. A finer cloak, a heavier ring, a house one street closer to the powerful. The coins had barely arrived before they were spent announcing that they had arrived. And within a year or two, the man who had grown a little richer was somehow poorer than before. Because now he had to feed the appearance he had built. The boy understood something the merchants did not. They were not spending their money. They were spending their freedom and calling it success. So, here is the third rule. When you begin to have more, live as though you still have less. Let your needs grow slowly, far more slowly than your coins. The space between what you earn and what you spend is not emptiness. It is power. It is choices. It is the ability to walk away, to wait, to say no. A man who spends everything he earns owns nothing, no matter how fine he looks. A man who keeps that space between the two owns the most valuable thing in the city. He owns his own next move. Most people rush to close that gap. The moment more comes in, more goes out. They mistake looking wealthy for being wealthy, and the two are almost opposites. Keep the gap. Guard it. It is the quiet foundations everything else is built on. Ask yourself, if your coins doubled tomorrow, would your life stay simple? Or would it swell to swallow every extra coin? Be honest. The answer is a mirror. Now, the boy noticed a second thing about the men who spent to be seen. The louder a man's wealth, the more the city moved against him. The relatives arrived asking for loans. The thieves marked his door. The powerful watched him with envy, and the tax collector with hunger. His gold, once visible, became a target for every hand in Florence. Meanwhile, the truly wealthy men, the ones the boy learned to recognize, looked like no one at all. Plain cloaks, ordinary doors, nothing to announce, and so nothing to attack. So here's the fourth rule. Let no one see your gold. Wealth that is displayed invites interference. Wealth that is quiet is left alone to grow. You do not hide it out of fear. You hide it out of strategy. Because attention is a tax, envy is a thief, and the strongest position in any room is the one no one thinks to watch. The boy learned to move through Florence unnoticed and to prefer it. What cannot be seen cannot be envied, cannot be borrowed against, cannot be taken. But keeping the gap and hiding the gold are not enough. Not while the money still sits within reach of your own weakest hour. And that is the fifth rule. The boy learned the fifth rule by watching good men undone by a single evening. He knew a craftsman in Florence who saved carefully all year. Coin by coin, the man built something worth keeping. And then one night, a celebration, a temptation, a moment of, I have earned this. The whole year emptied itself in a few hours. The man was not foolish. He was simply human. And his money had been sitting close at hand, waiting for his weakest moment to arrive. It always arrives. The boy understood that willpower is a thin wall. It holds on the strong days and gives way on the tired ones. You cannot trust yourself to be disciplined forever because no one is. What you can trust is distance. So here is the fifth rule. Put your money where your own hands cannot easily reach it. Build a wall between yourself and your savings, not because you are weak, but because you are wise enough to know that the weak hour will come. Set the money apart. Make it slow to touch, awkward to spend, out of sight and out of mind. What is hard to reach is hard to waste. The coin you have to think twice about is the coin that survives. Most people keep everything within arm's reach and then blame themselves when it disappears. But it was never a question of character. It was a question of distance. Remove the temptation, and you no longer need to defeat it. Ask yourself, how easily could you empty everything you've saved right now, tonight, if the mood took you? If the answer is very easily, your money is not yet safe, no matter how much discipline you think you have. Now the boy learned a sixth thing, and this one required patience. He noticed that the wealthy families of Florence did something the poor never bothered with. They counted. Every coin in, every coin out, written and known. Not because they were greedy, because they were awake. They knew exactly where their money went, which meant they knew exactly where to send it next. The poor man, by contrast, had no idea. His money simply vanished, a little here, a little there, and he called it bad luck. So here is the sixth rule. Study where every coin goes. Track it the way a general tracks his soldiers, because money you cannot see is money you cannot command. Most people do not have a money problem. They have a clarity problem. They lose small amounts constantly in ways they never notice. And those small leaks sink more men than any single great loss ever could. The boy watched the numbers until the numbers told him the truth about himself. And once a man sees the truth of where his coins go, he can no longer pretend. He is forced at last to act. But clarity only shows you the leaks. It does not build the streams. And that is the seventh rule. The boy learned the seventh rule at the river. Most men in Florence stood at the water's edge and waited. They dipped their hands in each day and pulled out what they could. A day's work, a day's pay, and tomorrow the same again. If they stopped reaching, the water stopped coming. Their whole living depended on their own two hands never resting. But the boy watched other men do something stranger. They dug channels. They built small wooden mills that turned by themselves in the current. They set the water to work and then walked away, and the water kept working through the night, through their sleep, through their absence. Same river, same city. But one man had to be present to eat, and the other did not. So here is the seventh rule. Build things that flow without you, a stream of value that keeps moving when your hands are still. A thing you make once that serves many, a skill that earns while you rest, ownership that pays you for simply owning it. It will start as a trickle. It will feel too small to matter. Build it anyway, because a trickle that never stops will outlast a flood that comes once and dries. The man who must labor for every coin is never free, no matter how hard he works. Because the moment he stops, everything stops. But the man with even one small stream flowing on its own has crossed into a different life. His money no longer depends entirely on his presence. And that, the boy understood, is where real freedom begins. Ask yourself, if you could not work tomorrow, not for a day, but for a year, would any money still reach you? For most people, the answer is none. Sit with that. It is the whole reason to build a stream. Now the boy learned an eighth thing, and it was about a trap dressed as a gift. He saw men in Florence borrow to live, a loan for the fine cloak, a debt for the larger house, coins taken now against work not yet done. And the lenders smiled because they understood what the borrowers did not. Every debt is a leash. The man who owes cannot walk away. He cannot refuse bad work, cannot wait for a better season, cannot say no to anyone. Because the payment comes whether he is ready or not. His freedom now belongs to someone else. So here is the 8th rule. Owe nothing to the men who profit from your weakness. Debt taken to appear wealthy is the fastest road to being owned. The lender does not grow rich when you are free. He grows rich when you are bound. Every easy loan is a longer leash, offered with a smile, and the smile is the most dangerous part. The boy learned to fear the smiling lender more than the honest thief. But even a free man with streams and no debts can still be undone from within. And that is the 9th rule. The boy learned the 9th rule from his own failures. On his strong days, he kept every rule easily. He saved, he tracked, he resisted. But he noticed that his good intentions came and went like weather. Some days the discipline was there, some days it was not. And the men of Florence were the same, full of resolve on the 1st of the month and empty of it by the 15th. They trusted their own willpower to carry them, and willpower is the most unreliable servant a man ever hires. So the boy stopped trusting himself to remember and began building small systems that remembered for him. A coin set aside on a fixed day, always, whether he felt like it or not. A rule that acted on its own, without asking how he felt that morning. So here's the 9th rule. Trust systems, not your own discipline. Decide once, build the habit into the very shape of your days, and then let it run without you. The man who relies on feeling disciplined will fail on the day he feels weak. And that day always comes. But the man who has built a system does not need to feel anything. It works while he is tired, while he is tempted, while he has forgotten it entirely. Machiavelli never trusted the steadiness of men. He trusted structure. So should you. Now the boy learned the final rule, and it was the largest of all, the one that turned every other rule from mere survival into true wealth. He watched the greatest merchants of Florence and saw that they had not grown rich by taking from the many. They had grown rich by serving the many. The one who made the bread the whole city needed, the one whose cloth every household wanted, the one who solved a problem for thousands. The coins flowed to him without his chasing, because he had made himself useful on a scale one man could never match alone. So here is the 10th rule. Create value for the many, and wealth will chase you instead of the other way around. Stop asking how to get money. Ask how many people you can truly serve. Because money is simply the echo of value returning to its source. Serve one man, and one man pays you. Serve thousands, and you will never again wonder where your next coin comes from. And so, the 10 rules end where the boy began. Not with getting, but with seeing. Pay yourself first. Own instead of sell your hours. Live below your means. Keep your wealth quiet. Put it beyond your own reach. Track every coin. Build streams that flow without you. Owe nothing to those who profit from your weakness. Trust systems over willpower, and serve the many. None of these made the boy rich overnight. Together, over a lifetime, they made him free, which is the only wealth that was ever worth having. The rules are yours now. Most people will hear them, nod, and change nothing. A few will begin tonight. If you intend to be one of the few, then follow this boy. Because every fable here teaches the one thing no one else will: how the world of money actually works. Walk with him a while. The next lesson is already waiting.